You have a really big education background. Can you tell us a little bit more about your education?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Um, so I went to the tourism high school in Croatia, but I never really wanted to do it. The only reason I went there is because I hated chemistry and math, and there it was more like languages, business, and not really focused on math and chemistry. Thinking back to that, today I love all sciences. I was just a bit a silly kid. From there, there's this national exam in Croatia you need to pass in order to get to the university. And I really, really wanted to go to the sports science school in Croatia. But the sports science school in Croatia is still kind of old school. You need to have like swimming trials, running trials to be even able to get in, regardless of your grades. Um, However, a couple of weeks before the exams, I broke my ankle on the rugby sevens tournament. And back then, for me, my world collided. I was like, no, now I'm going to spend the whole year not going to university. All of my friends, they're going to be finishing year one by the time I start. For me, it was horrible. So I was thinking to myself, uh, I want to go to UK. I've played rugby my whole childhood. I've never experienced the proper taste of rugby abroad. And I know I'm kind of running away from the topic, but this is how it happened. Um, I've made a little YouTube video, 3 minutes of me playing rugby in Croatia, and I've sent it to a bunch of clubs, like probably 50 different clubs. And I was lucky enough for one club in London to say, yeah, you know what, we'll give you a shot. Come and see what you got. And for me, I was motivated back. However, as I was trying to recover quickly, I broke the screws in my ankles as well. The screws they put in to recover. I know, it was horrible. But somehow, again, I kind of recovered and I went with one broken screw, which today I still have in my ankle. And first year in UK, I went there really hungry to prove myself, show myself. I did very well. And luckily, from the connections I've made in UK, I've started going to university there as well. So I moved to Exeter to do my foundation degree in coaching and fitness. 2 years after, I went south to Plymouth to do my bachelor degree in science of strength and conditioning. And currently, I'm studying in Newcastle, Northumbria. However, the education is online, so I was able to go to France as well.
So I can see just by what you've told me there that your determination is really it's a driving factor in your success. But how important do you think your education has been in both your career, your personal career, as well as your playing career?
Yeah, that's a very good question for you to ask me, because I think a lot of athletes don't have answers to this question, and that's quite concerning. But it's been massive, for sure. It's been massive because I think every athlete, the older he gets, he realizes we are ticking bombs. There's only certain amount of time in your life when you can perform to the top level and essentially live from it, unless you have a good idea for after the career. So the older I got, the more injuries I got, the more challenges I saw the athletes are facing, I knew, you know what, Philip, there's a plan A, but maybe you need a plan B as well. So I was very fortunate to find area with big interests such as sport for me to pursue with education as well. And of course, being lucky in UK, rugby is everywhere. So me moving cities didn't hinder my rugby pathway. I was always able to find a stronger club, a better club to be part of. Um, but like I said, many friends along my way in UK, I asked them the same questions. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And they never really had a good answer. There was always rugby, rugby. And I said, but what if you break your leg tomorrow? What's gonna happen? And they're like, I don't know. We just have to, roll our dices.
Do you feel like you've had a lot of support from clubs to drive that education, or do you feel like you've had to drive that yourself?
Initially, I think the drive was by myself. Uh, I don't think many coaches or clubs talk to their athletes enough about what happens after sport. Uh, Actually, from my experience, no one ever asked, "Hey, Philip, so what are you gonna do after rugby?" I don't think that question ever came across. Able to produce this special opportunity for me where I can train full time with the team and my time off I can use as director of international sales in partnerships. Before Sarlat, I don't think not one club really asked.
Amazing. That's something that It's just so important that you're throwing players into these situations where they're making money from playing, and they really only have 10 years to build their income, and then you're throwing them back out into the world with no preparation.
Absolutely, and it's a major concern. And like I said, this is my experience. Maybe some other player was in a club where they asked him, but personally, so far, I mean, I was changing clubs quite often as well, so I didn't stay long at one place. So maybe I didn't have enough time to bond with the coaches for them to build relationship with me like this. Sure, there were amazing coaches, but rarely someone actually asked, "Hey, what are you gonna do after this? What's gonna happen?" And like you said, I think even in UK, the suicide rate of top level athletes is quite high after their career, and depression rates. It's definitely a problem we should be talking about and tackling, because the top level of sports, any sports, can be very hostile actually. I think we all have this illusion that everyone is being catered. Yes, for sure, maybe 1% of top athletes, but a lot of other athletes, they're risking everything they got to be there. And if they don't make it, and a lot of them don't make it, what happens to them?
Is there any talk in the dressing room between players about what they're doing outside of rugby to prepare themselves?
Yeah, some of them do, especially now here in Sarlat, when we're all very connected to the business perspective of the club. But with, let's say, from the age of 18 and up, I think a lot of players, especially the players connected to the academy with premiership clubs, they don't really think about this, or maybe they're just too scared to talk about this, because what if they say something wrong, or maybe this shows that they're not very interested in rugby, and this is going to show to the other players maybe he's not all in with this, maybe he's an easy target. So I feel like people are just scared to talk about it. Yes, future is, I mean, we're all scared, no one knows what's going to happen, but it's a topic to talk about for sure.